Today, my comrades, we have a video on the Vitaz DT30. This may also include the DT10 and the 20. This unit is designed from the USSR back in the Cold War days. This was the top dog. This thing is pretty gnarly. This thing goes places you can only dream of going. While the Russians got this sick looking unit, we were stuck with the shitty Nodwell, which it worked alright. It was pretty good for what we had. We used it also in oil field conditions as the same. They used their DT30 for oil field transportation as well. This is a Nodwell. This is Twilights, which in the later years, I do believe a company called Raitai. I never really knew where they came from or where they were out of, but I worked with them a few times in my early years at Road Train when I was running pull trucks. The unit was crazy, and to handle a whole derrick on your own, it's unheard of at that time. So it was pretty cool. The DT30 featured a V12 710 horsepower engine from the early years that was borrowed from the T-64 main battle tank. In later years, they borrowed the engine from the T-72 main battle tank, which was more up in the 800 horsepower. Pretty much the same thing, 4-stroke, preheat. Pretty awesome unit. Bulletproof, just like everything else in the Russia. Now this V12 power plant comes out, the engine's in the main unit, and it comes out and it goes to a drop box, is what we call it here in Canada. It might be different there. And that allows for the drive shaft to come out at a lower point. And it's got hydraulic steering. Everything is at the attachments in the middle, and then you can see in there's the drive shaft, so all 4 tracks drive, which is pretty wicked, and that's how they can be allowed to go pretty much almost anywhere. And it's amphibious, so that's pretty kick-ass. It's probably like the greatest fishing, hunting unit a guy could ask for, except for it's not that quiet. I asked my wife if I could have one. She said no. And this is what it would look like in my backyard. I said, honey, it looks like it fits right in. Sometimes I even wonder why I'm even married.
I hate you.
I'm majorly interested in Russian vehicles, especially the Soviet stuff. I love old, I love ugly, and I love functionality, stuff that just keeps on going and never stops. I scoured the internet seeing what one of these would cost. It didn't tell me if it was Russian or US. It just said $35,000 for a 2006. That's the DT30, is the dual track setup. These vehicles came into service, they started with the DT LP and the DTL in the 70s, and then converted up to the bigger one to carry more weight, the DT 10, 20, and 30 from about 1980. They didn't have a vehicle that could get across Siberia, Antarctica, or even the Arctic, so they use it in lots of oil exploration, all sorts of human transportation. They got villages that are in the middle of nowhere that you can't get to in the summer because of the muskeg, and in the winter because just the conditions are too harsh. Now this unit's also featured on Spin Tires, is a computer video game, which is wicked. And also Spin Tires for your Xbox. I do believe it's for PS4 as well. which is another wicked game, and I love playing it because it has all this old Soviet off-road army military stuff in it. First off, hats off to Russians. Love it. You guys are crazy and you do crazy shit. Keep posting these off-road videos on YouTube. I love watching them, and the stuff you got going on, it's made me think twice about actually moving so I could enjoy some of this crazy stuff and just try it out, because I'm always looking for the next adventure. Today we have the K700. This is a very rigid farm tractor. It was produced from 1962 to 2002. Came out first on the streets with a V8 turbo, and then later model year the 701 came with a V12 naturally aspirated. The V8 had 215 horsepower. The V12 had 300. A later model came out as a prototype 710, was the model, and it came with 500 horsepower, but I couldn't really find much on that. Yet again, another vehicle that's featured on Spin Tires is another favorite, also on Mud Runner for Xbox One. These Russians love this thing so much, they even made RC tractors right after them. I'd be buying one of those. I'm pretty sure you just said tequila. I'm down with that. I don't know what kind of turbos they're running on these things, but man, they sound meaty, and I could listen to that for days. But yeah, now that's a Friday night. I'm in. Sign me up. Give me a call. I'll do it.
Прыгай! Прыгай нафиг!
Оперный театр. Это пиздец.
The 6x6 is pretty rare, so the people that do have them do cherish them and hold on to them dearly. It's hard to find really anything on them. Today you can help an oil field worker. Subscribe. Watch every video hundreds of times over and over. In fact, leave it on replay all day. Today another wicked Russian unit is the MAZ 537 from the Soviet era. Yet again, the 537 is a favorite amongst this driving simulator on spin tires, and RC model fans seem to just love this just as well. I've seen all sorts of crazy videos on RC stuff. Whatever you guys are doing, it looks wicked, and I'm jealous. Well, up until today, I didn't even know remote control cars like this even existed. I've never set foot in a hobby shop because I know I can't afford it. It's way too expensive, but these are wicked awesome. I love the way they look, and I've been fooled a million times today thinking that some of these were the real things until I clicked on the video. When I was a kid, we had like turbo hoppers, we had Bigfoot knockoffs, stuff like that for remote controlled cars. Well, that's enough of that. Back to the real thing.
Gaat hij nou weg omdat wij eraan komen?
The MAZ 537 has been in service since 1960, all the way through to 1990. It houses a V12 diesel engine with 525 horsepower, full-time all-wheel drive. The 38.9 liter engine was also out of a tank, just like everything else I think they did in the Soviet. They put, like, we got one engine, we put it in everything, which seemed to work. Parts were all over the place. If you broke down in your MAZ, you just went over your battle tank, you got some spare parts.
In Russia, we only go forward.
The KZKT 7428 has been the MAZ 537 replacement since 1990. Even though the MAZ 537 is still widely used amongst the military to this day, it's just rusty and trusty. Why change it? There's another replacement for the KZKT in production right now, supposedly. Spin Tires has been available on computer, PC, Mac for quite a while now. I just kind of ran into it one day. I seen an advertisement somewhere, and it's a driving simulator mostly about Russian Soviet equipment. It's pretty wicked. I kind of like simulator stuff like that since I'm a truck driver. I love it. So it's great, and it's got good graphics. Everything about it's pretty wicked. You need to check it out. It's available for PC, Mac, PS4, even Xbox One, except for the version for your console is called Mud Runner. Not a paid advertisement, but if you want to pay me.
Rated E for everyone.
Inside me blaze like a siren. Why would you try it? Wake up the beast, no I can't keep silent. It's been a long time, I've been on this road, I'm racking my mileage up. They don't get loud with us, cause they know we wild as we know they scared of us, no they don't care for us. They don't have no friends, I came here to win, now let it begin now.